I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. What a good day is.
Oh yeah,
What a good day is.
it's that time.
That's exactly what the day is.
Y'all know what time it is on this Wednesday. Let's go. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're about to get into it. Oh man, what an amazing day. Shout out to Keely for kicking off the show the right way. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Woo! We should get some good news today. Hopefully y'all keep your fingers crossed, say a prayer. It is finally time. All right, I see the ones in the chat. Let me see how we looking up in here. Hopefully I'm not blurry. Ooh, wee. Looking all crispy and clean on the screen. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the Music Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE Beats, ClassEbeats.com. And today, it's about to get crazy. We might see Yak Gotti get free today. I'm hoping and praying that this happens. It's possible. We'll say it's highly likely at this point, but we're going to have to wait and see. So we're going to get into the live coverage starting here at 10 o'clock. Y'all know court doesn't always start at time, but we'll be here when it does. Shout out to everybody who's in the building, man. Good to see y'all. I got to say what's up to the people. We got my awesome, amazing Amy is in here. Shout out to Amy. We've got Gigi Lynn, A Fitch, J Buckmaster, Anita, Nicholas, Shani, Deborah Lewis, Slim Life is in here with the early super chat. Oh my gosh, dropping the 5 bombs saying keep it up. We don't stop. Thank you so much. Michi is in here as well, showing love. Thank you so much. Says hashtag free Yak Gotti. Fulton County playing games with your boy Yak. ClassE Beats, thank you for all you do. 100K before the end of January. I'ma claim it in the name of Jesus. Mr. Brown is in here. Nosy Rosie, good to see you. Right Streets in the building. Alejandra is up in here. We've got Tariq. Shout out to Tariq. Rebecca in the building. We got the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell as well. Good to see you. Tada, Leona. We got everybody is in here. Good to see y'all. Also, good morning to what is that name? 403 is ready. Just became a new member or has been a member for 2 months. Thank you to all the members that are in here. We've got a ton of y'all. I know y'all are ready for this breaking news we're going to see today. So it's going to be exciting. I'm hoping that we get some good news today for Yak Gotti because he had to miss New Year. He had to miss Christmas, all that crazy stuff. All because the state decided to muddy up the waters and make it difficult for him to get out of jail. So unfortunately, they waited until the last minute to talk about his situation, with probation. So we're going to get into that today. I believe Judge Whitaker is going to be presiding over this. I keep hearing conflicting things, and actually court is starting right now. So it looks like it's not Judge Whitaker today. Oh no. So it is not Judge Whitaker that's going to be presiding over this. So I'll give y'all an update here shortly.
All right, we'll keep moving.
Let's go ahead and get into the coverage. Here we go. Also, if y'all could, make sure you like the video on your way in. Not only are likes free, not only does it help the channel continue to grow, but lets the YouTube algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the show and it shares the video with more people. Here we go. Let's see who this gentleman is. I'm going to figure out who this guy is here in a second.
All right. Number one. All right. Mr. Kendrick, Mr. Harvey. All right, we'll keep moving. Mr. Harvey, come back and see me when you have an announcement.
I've got one announcement, Your Honor.
That's
Not
Bruce
ready?
Harvey in the background. Shout out to Bruce Harvey.
I don't know which case you're talking about, but there's a camera here.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it has anything to do with one of my cases. And if it does, I'm objecting to it. There's been no notice to us. There's been no hearing. I don't know whether any order has been entered. I haven't been provided an order. So I have a problem
Okay.
with the presence over the camera.
Okay. Well, we'll take it up in a little while.
So that's my first objection.
Okay.
All right, y'all can't hear. I got it.
No matter what it is.
Oh, Bruce, we've known each other for over 40 years.
I can't imagine knowing somebody for 40 years. That's great.
The Apollo Bird.
They're old.
Mr.
All right, so it looks like for some reason Bruce Harvey has an issue with there being a camera here. So while we're waiting on them to get situated, y'all may not know, I guess spoiler alert, Bruce Harvey and Westmoreland are representing Yak Gotti today. And this news broke yesterday thanks to Thugger Daily. Shout out to Thugger Daily. Says Yak Gotti has retained legendary lawyers Bruce Harvey and Nicole Westmoreland for his remaining charges. Additionally, his current lawyer, Caleb Bumpus, who has been representing him for free, successfully got his probation revocation hearing moved to obviously today. And then we've got the documents here showing that the substitution, I don't know why they put substitution in here, misspelled that, substitution of counsel and entry of appearance. And it says, please substitute in and enter Bruce Harvey and Nicole Westmoreland as opposed to Mohammed S. I don't know who that is, as the attorney of record for defendant Diamante Kendrick. And we've got them listed there. And then we've got what he's looking for bond here as well. This is the entry of appearance from Harvey and Westmoreland. Back in December, Caleb Bumpus successfully got a bond $4,000 on one of the contraband cases. So shout out to Caleb putting in the work. And then, of course, Uncle Doug had to speak on this as well. Let's see what he's talking about.
So I see that it is out there that Bruce Harvey and Nicole Westmoreland have now apparently entered appearances for Diamante Kendrick, for Yak Gotti, in at least one of his cases. I am thrilled to see Bruce and Nicole,
I wonder if Doug is there,
be in there representing Yak. I know that they are going to do an amazing job, and that for sure Diamante and his family have made a fantastic choice in going with them. You guys did not get to see much of Bruce during the trial, but you did get to see some. Not in all of his full glory, but you got to see some. So you guys are going to get to see more of Bruce and Nicole. And as I said, I know they're going to do an amazing job. And I am so happy for Diamante that he has Bruce and Nicole
Yeah, just got
working
using his
for,
glasses.
and when you're working for Diamante, working with him.
All right, there it is, man. Shout out to Uncle Doug giving them the full cosign over there. Let's see if we have any updates in the trial proceedings. So just to give y'all a little bit of background, what's going on?
Just put it down.
Okay.
I've got a conflict. I can't. I've got a conflict until 2026 at this point. And Max can verify that. He's my witness. I'm halfway through resolving a potential conflict. I have
Oh, no.
outside counsel to talk to one party, but not outside counsel.
Hold on, let's go back a little bit.
The Apollo Bird,
And neither we hadn't had notice.
Mr.
So, okay. Whether he was even in the case.
Bruce Harvey's saying there might be some type of conflict. What's going on
That's
here?
also Mr. Harvey's case, Mr. Bird.
All right, number 3, Judge.
Do you have an announcement on Mr. Bird?
Well, isn't this a status calendar?
This is in
Yes,
person.
Status conference, yes.
Yep.
Okay, we have like a day's worth of motions that are still outstanding on Mr. Burke, correct?
Yes, Judge.
Oh, he's talking about his other client.
Before the court to address some motions when a potential conflict was discovered. And I think we broke from that to allow
That's right.
Mr. Harvey time to consult with his client and the potential state's witness about those conflicts and secure outside representation or consultation.
That's right. And one of the outside counsel that has talked with one of the individuals is present here today. So that
He's got conflict in another case.
resolving a potential conflict. I have outside counsel who's talked to one party, but not outside counsel that has talked to the other party.
Okay.
And this young man, who used to have a ponytail and has lost all of his strength and valor by cutting his ponytail, is present today.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I still have hair.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of weak, I gotta say.
And so are we going to further notice it at this point?
Yes,
Okay, for when? February 3rd?
well, Judge, you can further notice it to whatever calendar you would like, and it just depends on
Yeah.
whether and I will work on getting that resolved, number one. Number two, I know I'm gonna be on trial during the February 3rd period. So that's an advance notice of conflict. But put it on there, and if something comes up, we'll be able to make it.
You want to do some other date?
I don't want to give a date yet, Judge.
You don't want to give a date, period,
This,
or the 3rd?
they need to, when will the conflict be resolved? Do we know? Can it be resolved this week, possibly?
No. I
That
started
is-
trial out of the continental United States on the
22nd.
the day after Martin Luther King holiday, and I anticipate that will last at least 2 weeks. So I'll be in trial away from here.
Do you know how long that trial is supposed to last?
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
All right, so we're talking 3rd week in February.
Well. Just put it down.
Okay.
I've got a conflict. I can't. I've got a conflict until 2026 at this point. And Max can verify that. He's my witness.
I don't know where I got that February 3rd date.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, you'll receive a notice.
All right, okay. Can I just run back and tell Mr. Bird was shaken?
Sure.
Not while the judge is on
Yeah,
the bench.
yeah. Momentarily you can.
Okay.
All right. Did we need to, Judge, here's a note,
Thank you. Sorry, y'all.
and if we can address the Kendrick situation so we can move on.
Yeah, this is Bruce Harvey's talking about his other client, Mr. Bird.
Ralph, don't leave.
So it seems like we have an issue
We're
with.
talking about the other matter.
Okay, well, as far as Rule 22 goes, I understand that it was filed and decided before you made an appearance.
Okay, well, we're still, I think the rule says after notice and hearing.
All right. I don't know if there's a hearing or not. Okay, I'll reread it.
Okay, please.
And we'll be in touch. Don't leave the courthouse.
No, I was waiting to go see Mr. Burdick, and
Okay.
we're gonna talk with everybody with regard to the other matter.
Okay. All right.
And I still have my 2 witnesses here, just in case.
Okay. Good. Number 4. Jerome. Yes.
Mr. Belgrave hasn't been brought up yet.
He has not been brought up. Okay.
Dang, so
Woolens
Bruce Harvey doesn't
Pierre.
want the cameras in there. The cameras in there.
Is up, and he can come out if you want. We do have an announcement.
Why did that lady talking sound like Viverito for a
If
second?
you want.
Pierre. Okay. Jerome. Yes.
Mr. Belgrave hasn't been brought up yet.
He has not been brought up. Okay.
Did that sound like Viverito to y'all?
Number 4. Jerome. Yes.
Mr. Belgrave hasn't been brought up yet.
He has not been brought up. Okay.
Interesting.
Woolens Pierre.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Pierre is up, and he can come out if you want. We do have an announcement.
All right.
Interesting. And so Bruce Harvey's still trying to get everything settled with some issue he had with Diamante Kendrick. We'll just have to wait and see what goes on there. Is the sound okay? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these chicks be sounding the same, so it might not be her. I mean, if there are attorneys in there, I don't know why she would be there, but
Willis is his first name.
Pierre, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
All right. What's the announcement on Mr. Pierre?
Mr. Pierre, by the way, has positions 5 and 6 on the calendar, Your Honor.
Okay.
Or, yeah. Yeah. Right now, we're just going to have him move to a trial calendar. We're not accepting the offer. Mr. Pierre faces immigration issues that we're still trying to deal with, and these types of charges definitely put in the ability that he may be deported.
Okay.
I don't care about that. Let's skip it.
Okay. Both cases, Ms. Hall?
Yes, Ms. Rosser.
Sound is good? All right.
Jamel Fisher.
I don't know. Oh, Mr. Fisher, Your Honor, it has to be reset. He is still on loan to grade, as they say, so he is not available.
He wasn't brought over, Pilgrim.
No, still in grading,
Okay.
going out.
All right. Cherish Okafor.
I believe that they have not been brought over yet either.
All right.
Here or not up?
I'm not brought up. Oh, okay, who's here?
Okay, we'll come back to this, got a pretrial.
Yes, that's a people right
Pretrial on week. Okay.
What's on, Okafor, Judge, number 9?
now. Okafor has 2, I believe that they've been brought up, that it's female.
Okafor is not here. I don't know, I'll call down the chicken and see if he's.
Now, I believe that we're finally bringing them out to.
Trying to skip ahead.
Miss Nix, you're here on behalf of Roebuck.
Oh, you've got Judge Whitaker's not court reporter. Judge Whitaker must have had to step away.
All right. Come on out, Mr. Roebuck. Stand at the podium next to your attorney.
Yes, Your Honor. This is Mr. Torrance Roebuck, number 13 on the jail calendar, 24 SC 000139. We plead not guilty and waive formal reading. We'd like to address the failure to appear. He had a court date on 10/10/2024 for which he failed to appear, and there was a bench warrant issued. In talking with him and checking on the system as well, what it appears to be, it was a address mishap. They had his address in there as 1033 Hollowell, HOLLOWELL, which is, I don't even think a street in Atlanta. It was
Dang, they're giving
corrected
out
when he
this
got
man's
arrested.
whole
The
address?
correct address is in there. I verified that with him. It's 1033 Hollywood Road, Northwest, apartment R3, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. So it is correct in there now, but it was not correct, so he did not get notice. So we are going to ask for you to lift the
Wow.
warrant and reinstate the bond. I've checked the bonds.
Yeah,
They've
not our
not
court
been-
reporter.
they've
It was
not come
the,
off them, so they're
the
still
other
good.
lady, her
And he
secretary,
has
whatever.
the correct bonds on the correct charges. So just ask to have the warrant
Miss
lifted, bond
Percifield.
reinstated.
What say the state?
Judge, it looks like he was arrested on the bench warrant just a couple weeks after his failure to appear, so the state is in no position.
Yeah, that's
He was
not
arrested on the bench
Viverito.
warrant
It's
for the
an
failure to
attorney.
appear.
Yes, sir.
All right.
This case was in non-complex and it was just transferred up here.
All right.
The judicial hold lift order
The legal
was
assistant, thank
signed
you.
on October 22nd, so he was arrested at some point that day or before.
All right. Mr. Roebuck, is the 1033 Hollywood Road address a good address?
Yes, sir.
And
Her
who
legal
lives there with
assistant,
you?
thank you.
This is my friend of mine's apartment where I stay with.
All right. And as far as you know, your friend's still there?
Yeah, they still there.
You still allowed to go there?
Yes, I am.
All right. If you change your address, you need to tell your attorney, you need to come down and tell the clerk's office
Yes, sir.
also.
Yes, sir.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have your attorney's telephone number?
Yes. Oh, no, not yet, not yet.
Okay. Well, she'll give it to you before you leave. Stay in touch with her.
Make sure I have it.
I'll set aside the bench warrant.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what she is.
Next court date will be February the 5th.
February 5th.
Yep.
Okay, thank
So Laura
Be here whether or not
Percifield
you receive a notice or not.
you. Okay.
is Judge Whitaker's senior staff attorney, and she's there.
Those for all those
In the
other
courtroom.
dates, guys, it's February the 5th, not the 3rd, sorry.
Yeah. Jansen Williams. Anybody here on Mr. Williams' behalf?
Judge, that one, they were gonna file a waiver and I asked the deputies not to bring him up.
Okay.
I've been in touch with Mr. King,
All right.
and, we'll probably reset that one to the 3rd.
Sorry, y'all. So Judge
Or the
Newkirk
fifth.
must be filling
Third
in
or
for
the
Judge
fifth?
Whitaker for some reason.
Right.
I don't know why you keep saying the 3rd, Judge, it's the 5th. February the 5th.
You're the one who told me the 3rd.
I know, but I don't want you to keep saying it.
Andrew Sybeck.
You can bring him out, Your Honor.
Okay.
What's the name again, Your Honor?
Sybeck, number 15. Andrew.
So we're still waiting on.
Is Mr. Hawkins still in here?
Yep.
Mr. Hawkins, was Jason Williams, is that gonna be you?
Bruce Harvey
Yes,
to
sir.
get back into
Sir,
the
yes,
building.
Ms. Ross.
Okay, Mr. King, he was gonna file, he had a conflict for today. He may
Okay.
have been included on that. He's gonna file a waiver, he also filed a motion for bond. I didn't see where one was had, so we'll probably put it on for February the 5th.
Oh, case management and bond.
And, yeah.
Okay, got it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Thank you.
And Your Honor, Mr. Civic waives formal arraignment and enters a not guilty plea.
Okay. Mr. Civic, stay in touch with your attorney. And when's the next reasonable court date? February 5th.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Larry Shoemaker.
I'm not sure if he's
That's the one that's in the hospital.
Okay.
He was supposed to be a video judge, and, but he's in the hospital at the prison, so.
Yeah, I don't know why Bruce Harvey wouldn't want cameras.
I may try to get him on next week, but because it's just a plea and arraignment.
All right.
Or probably, that date will be to be determined. How about that?
Okay.
That works.
Jasmine Worthhands.
Due to space, and I have brought the female without
Okay. That takes care of 18 and 19 and 20. Isaiah Madison.
I think he's also appearing via video.
He's appearing via video.
Yes,
And I may have given them a 10:30 time. I don't see anybody in the waiting room from the citizen, so let's give them a few more minutes.
All right.
Hey, good morning, Farmer. You haven't missed much. Bruce Harvey's trying to kick
Demetrius
the cameras.
Clay.
Bruce Harvey's trying to kick the cameras out of the courtroom. It seems like they're having some type of issue, maybe with Yak Gotti's paperwork. I don't know. And then I'm hearing reports that they're possibly Bruce Harvey and Westmoreland are having conversations with the prosecutors. So that's kind of where we're at. Appreciate y'all being here. And thank you to everybody who liked the video.
Okay, we'll put a question
I'll
mark.
try to find them.
Philando Hunter.
in custody. He's up.
Yeah, him saying he doesn't want cameras is weird. And Kathy Resson from Milan crying is not happy.
All right, so you'd like to hold for your announcement?
Yeah.
All right. Zachary Pearson.
Let's skip ahead a little bit. Here we go.
No, he has not.
All right. Well,
So if we can do it that way,
I mean, is it of the nature that would be ripe for a plea?
negatory.
All right. Okay.
Oh, there's
it would
Westmoreland
be right,
on the screen.
but that's all it would be. We're still, well, we're talking,
All right.
okay?
Well,
He's got multiple cases, Judge. He's got one in Judge McBurney. It's
Right.
a more serious case. So I think we're potentially discussing how to resolve that if we can.
So the best way is status quo at this particular point.
So you're looking for a universal settlement?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So may we do the arraignment in that fashion?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Madam Clerk, may I get the paperwork?
Yes, you may.
Sorry to get you down here for nothing. Of course, I didn't have anything to do with getting. No, I'm talking about the cameraman.
I thought you were talking to me.
No. but it doesn't look like anything's going to happen with Mr. Kendrick's case today.
What?
Are you working with Mr.
Wow.
Harvey?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Attorney Nicole Westmoreland.
Okay, Mr. Westmoreland. All right, nice to meet you.
So what's going on? They're saying nothing's going to happen with the act today?
Aging boy, it's cold out there kind of guy. You know, I thought this morning that if you're over 70, you should be exempted from coming out in any weather that's below 30 degrees.
Good luck with that.
Wow.
I was looking for the exemption.
So what happened? What did we miss? Let me back it up one more time because I think
Do it that way.
I mean, is it,
something was said off camera maybe. Wow. I'm going to see if I have any other updates from some of the folks who are actually in the courtroom. Joseph Papp says, Judge Newkirk says that it appears nothing is going to happen with Kendrick's case today. So there must have been some issues. Wow. That is unfortunate. I'm going to skip right to when the camera comes back on.
The camera issue, because he'll just wave.
he's never been arraigned on this
No,
charge?
he has not.
No, he has not.
All right. Well,
So if we can do it that way,
I mean, is it of the nature that would be ripe for a plea?
negatory.
All right. Okay.
Well, it would be ripe, but that's all it would be. We're still, well, we're talking.
So it sounds like Bruce Harvey's having conversations with the prosecutors for some reason.
He's got one in Judge McBurney.
Right.
It's a more serious case. So I think we're potentially discussing how to resolve that if we can.
So the best way is status quo at this particular point?
So you're looking for a universal settlement?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So may we do the arraignment in that fashion?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Madam Clerk, may I get the paperwork?
Yes, you may.
Westmoreland kind of.
Sorry to get you down here for nothing. Of course, I didn't have anything to do with getting. No, I'm talking about the cameraman.
She didn't seem happy about what was going on.
but it doesn't look like anything's going to happen with Mr. Kendrick's case today.
So it sounds like they're still having some issues with what his charges while he was in jail.
No,
This charge.
he hasn't.
What are they saying?
He's never been arraigned on this charge.
He said something about a camera issue.
All right. Well,
So if we can do it that way,
I mean, is it of the nature that would be right for a plea?
negatory.
All right. Okay.
Well, it would be ripe, but that's all it would be. We're still, well, we're talking.
So they're trying to work out some type of plea for his other charges?
He's got multiple cases, Judge. He's got one in Judge McBurney.
Right.
It's a more serious case. So I think we're potentially discussing how to resolve that if we can.
So the best way is status quo at this particular point?
So you're looking for a universal settlement?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So may we do the arraignment in that fashion?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Madam Clerk, may I get the paperwork?
Yes, you may.
So what it sounds like,
Sorry to get you down here for nothing. Of course, I didn't have anything to do with getting. No, I'm talking about the cameraman.
and again, I don't know how this would work from a legal standpoint, but it sounds like Bruce Harvey is trying to get everything done
With Mr. Kendrick's case today.
at one point.
Trust me, they will come in anyway.
Because if he's talking about a plea and this was just a probation revocation hearing, it seems like he's maybe working with the prosecutors to get everything
Are you
settled.
working with Mr. Harvey?
So Yak Gotti is out, and then
What's
that's
your
it.
name?
Attorney Nicole Westmoreland.
Okay, Ms. Westmoreland. All right, nice to meet you.
She's the brains and beauty. I'm just the aging boy, it's cold out there kind of guy. You know, I thought this morning that if you're over 70...
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a little frustrating and confusing. I'm sure Yak feels the same way too. Got brought out here and thinking maybe he could get his situation figured out. And it's sounding like, again, I'm super reading into this, so y'all don't take my word for it. But it sounds like Bruce Harvey is trying to get everything settled when it comes to Yak Gotti so he can just be done. So maybe they work out some type of plea deal for the charges while he was in jail, which, oh man.
Right. And so what we have ultimately is that there is no evidence, none.
That's frustrating to hear. Kathy Russin from Law and Crime says, without a Rule 22 for the other cases, we can't show. Georgia is different on the other cases. So yeah, it's hard because she says we have muted the stream and are showing the seal while the judge handles the other cases. Yak Gotti has not been called out yet. They're not moving forward today with Yak's arraignment. So nothing to see here. Wow. And then that's when she also says without a Rule 22 for the other cases, they can't show them because Georgia is different than some other states. I wonder why Bruce Harvey doesn't want cameras in there though. Could it maybe have something to do with the type of deal that he's going to get? I have no idea. Yak is off. Michi says, man, free Yak Gotti. Yeah, can y'all type free Yak Gotti in the chat? This is unfortunate. And I mean, Bruce Harvey and Westmoreland, they're both absolutely amazing attorneys. So shout out to Nicole and Bruce, but no idea what's going on here. Long Crime's probably done. Yeah, this stream ended. So I wanted to go back and actually review the last time we saw Bruce Harvey when he was handling Quamarvius Nichols' plea deal. We'll get into that here in a second, but yeah, what do y'all think about that, man? D'Lo says Harvey needs to let the cameras in. They can actually help the case, in my opinion. Possibly. I mean, with this, at this point, I don't know if it could help the case. The only thing it's going to help us see is just the state and their BS, right? So, I don't know. Harvey is very smart and passionate. I trust him. Y'all are saying free Yak Gotti, free Yak Gotti. Harvey never liked the cameras. The cameras is why we're here. Why they got so much support. Top-notch attorneys, both of them. I agree. Cameras, no cameras, free Yak Gotti. Yeah, for real, man. Free Yak Gotti. Free Yak. Now let him live. Harvey needs to let the cameras in. Zahir says they usually don't even give you a street charge for a stupid cell phone. They put you on lockup for a few weeks and that's it. Maybe take some of your good time that you earned. That's all. Yeah, I could see that. And it definitely isn't the best thing for Yak, says Farmer. What else are y'all saying? Why can't he just get time served? Because these are separate charges. So these are the charges for what happened to him or what he did while he was in jail. So this is separate from the initial YSL trial, which sucks. Maybe he's trying to keep Yak safe for something. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? I mean, there must be a good reason. Minnie Perkins is in here. It says, happy Wednesday. May each and everyone have a blessed, peaceful day. ClassE Beats, you have a marvelous day. God bless. Thank you so much. Amy's in there, says free daddy. Hey, yo. Oh, free Yak Gotti. Imagine if they try to hit them with a new RICO for the cell phone and gang charges. It wouldn't hold up. Which actually, next week, what is it? Next Monday, we're going to hear what's going on with the remaining defendants because Nard, he's got some. The only reason he's in there is because he had a cell phone. And they said, oh, well, this is in the furtherance of the conspiracy of YSL. So it's crazy. Let the man breathe, y'all said. And he's a felon. So he'd have to do day for day. Yeah, and the charges could get him up to 6 years. Harvey knows best. And him and Nicole got this. Yeah, let's go. Let's do a little bit of rewind to go back in time and see what Bruce Harvey did the last time he was representing one of these YSL clients.
And the statement with regard to the underlying factual basis, I would point out for the court that when Mr. Nichols filled out his form, it says 29 plus. He is a birthday boy in a couple of days and he will be 30. And at 30 years of age, he has a wife, he has got a 13-year-old daughter, he's got a 10-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old son. His wife and sister, I believe, are here in the courtroom to support him. He, Mr. Nichols, was born and raised in Atlanta, and you know, we're at this point before I have even given my opening statement in this case.
Yes, sir.
I do want the court to know that Mr. Nichols' mother died in prison.
Sad.
His father was shot by the Atlanta police when he was 4 years old. And he was raised by friends and family in the Atlanta area. So he has come to this point in his life from a very humble beginning. And he has sought the support of friends in this courtroom and others in this courtroom.
He is an intelligent young man who I believe has a future. Every day we do a word of the day. We put a new word into a sentence. And I think this is in his best interest. I know that there is, and I know this plea is negotiated, but it's a long downside from 7 to 20. So the courts will have jurisdiction over him for a period of time. So I asked the court, given who this young man is, and given our categorical denial of some of the factual basis, to accept the plea and sentence Mr. Nichols accordingly.
Mr. Nichols, is there anything that you want to say?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right. I find there to be a factual basis for the guilty plea to the RICO count one of the indictment, that being a conspiracy to acquire control or interest in money and personal property through a pattern of racketeering activity.
Yeah.
And that is the only count that guilty plea is being entered for. The remaining counts of this indictment as against Mr. Nichols are being null pros by the state as a part of this indictment. I find, having heard the evidence up to the point of trial right now, that there is evidence of at least one overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy, and that there is evidence that would fall within the required statute of limitations to establish this RICO conspiracy count.
Dang.
One of the things that we as judges are instructed by our Uniform Superior Court rules to do when we are considering whether to accept a guilty plea and whether to accept a negotiated sentence, and this is a negotiated sentence in this case, is to take into account whether giving leniency in sentencing is going to aid in ensuring promptness and certainty, or at least more promptness and more certainty with regard to corrective measures, whether the defendant, and in this case the defendant has acknowledged guilt and is accepting responsibility for his guilt of the RICO count, and whether accepting the plea will aid in avoiding further delays, not just with regard to this case, but with regard to the entirety of our system here in Fulton County. And this plea does go towards doing all of those things. I am going to accept the plea as negotiated and sentence in accord with the negotiated recommendation. As I said before, find there to be a factual basis for count one of the plea. I find the plea to have been freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered into by Mr. Nichols, with an understanding of the consequences of doing that. And the sentence on count one is the sentence that has been negotiated of 20 years to serve 7, with the balance of those years to be served on probation. And that, I don't know if there are any special conditions attached to this that y'all have talked about at all.
There are no negotiated special conditions, and so there are none as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see your factual basis.
So with regard to the time that you are on probation, you need to stay out of all kinds of criminal trouble. Make this a birthday present to yourself and to your children and to your wife and family, that you will leave from here today and leave whatever you used to do behind you, and take the next few years, you're going to have some years that are still to be served on this. You'll have credit for the time you've already served, but you're still going to be facing some incarceration time. But after that, you are going to be out, and you, I believe, Mr. Harvey is correct, can be a productive member of society, and this is an opportunity for you to do that and for you to put your past behind you, the bad parts of it, and continue and make your children proud of you and set a good example for them, an example that I guess unfortunately you were not lucky enough to have throughout the entirety of your childhood with your parents. I'm sorry about that, but you can be the kind of parent that you ought to be to your children. So I am going to impose that sentence, and I am going to wish you luck and good fortune as you go forth from here. So I think that unless there's anything else from either party, that will conclude these proceedings, and y'all can go ahead and take him into custody.
Yeah, that was tough too, but shout out to Bruce Harvey, Westmoreland, for putting in the work, taking advantage of the free play situation. That was a crazy turn of events. It seemed like it was almost going to be a mistrial, but anyway, if y'all missed that, interesting rewind for sure. Thank you again to everybody who's liked the video so far. We are at 1,000 plus likes, 1,000 of y'all in the building. We got a couple other topics. I swear I can talk. That we're gonna cover today. So we are not done with the live stream yet. Let's go ahead and get into it, because we do have some more breaking news too. That is not the right one. So thank y'all again for liking the video. I know it takes 2 seconds, but it really does help the channel out a lot. Let me see if I could find this one. All right, here we go. I'm gonna read a couple more of y'all's comments, and then we'll get into our next topic. Let me see who we've got in here. Shout out to everybody who's in the building too. Sean P is up in here as well. I see you, man. CB gang in the building. Ella says it took Kayla to have Yak moved from February to today, and the only thing Harvey can talk about some cameras. We don't know what. I know it's frustrating for us because we don't know, and I mean, imagine how frustrating it is for Yak Gotti because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But nah, that's tough. Life with Dree says Harvey is an amazing lawyer. He's got Yak covered. State so bored, and I don't know why. There's so many inmates they need to attend to at Rice Street that haven't seen a day in court. Free Yak Gotti. Any updates on the murder case Brian argued at the Georgia Supreme Court? Not that I've seen, but we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Taco Tuesday says, so this day is a wash. Yep. They brought Yak Gotti to court and then sent him right back in there. Got that man's hopes up for nothing. I wonder if Doug was there too, or if Kayla was there. I wonder who all was in the building. Maybe we'll hear something from them a little bit later on. Judge Whitaker almost cried during this. I cried like a baby, says Michelle. Oh no. Yeah, that's tough. Liked and shared, says Michelle. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's get into our next topic for today. Let me see if I could find it. Make sure I've got the right video. Boom, here we go. Minnie Perkins says, nah, you didn't wipe your nose. Hey, listen, I'm not afraid of no Rico. Here we go. So we've been following what's been going on with this Julio Foolio murder trial. Most recently, we talked about Elisa Andrews. She is one of the defendants in this trial. She's going to be having a baby here in the next few weeks, and they actually pushed her trial to later on this year. Something we haven't talked about is they were looking for and trying to find one more person who was a suspect or who was indicted in this case, and they actually found this gentleman. We're going to talk about Davion here in a second, but he was on the run from the police. They were trying to locate him, and they finally got him. And now he's going to be facing charges just like the rest of his crew. Y'all check this out.
Fifth person wanted in connection with the murder of Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio is finally in custody.
He was found right here in Jacksonville. Police had been looking for Davian Murphy for more than 6 months since the shooting happened down in Tampa. This is the latest picture from his arrest. News 4 Jax reporter Brianna Andrews is joining us now live, and Brianna, Murphy is expected in court later today.
He's scheduled to face a judge at 1 and is charged with first-degree murder. JSO released this picture of him sitting on the ground smiling after his arrest yesterday evening.
It's nasty work.
You can see his hands cuffed behind his back. Police also shared this video showing officers walking Murphy to a squad car. He was arrested at an apartment on LaBelle Street. This picture shows the door off its hinges with dents in the front. It appears officers forced their way inside. 5 people are now charged in connection to Julio Foolio's murder. That includes Rashad Murphy, who is Davion Murphy's cousin. Sean Gathright, Isaiah Chance, and Alicia Andrews are also charged with first-degree murder. Investigators say the group was involved in the shooting, caught on camera outside of a Tampa hotel. It happened while rapper Julio Foolio was celebrating his birthday back in June. Detectives identified the two Murphys and Gathright as the shooters and believe Chance and Andrews served as lookouts. And police do believe that this shooting was gang-related. And again, Murphy is expected to be in court at 1 this afternoon. News 4 Jax will be there and will provide updates. Reporting live, Brianna Andrews, Channel 4, the local station.
All right, and then we've got the video y'all saw of him getting arrested. They have it right here. I mean, they busted all up in this man's hotel or apartment. And this is directly from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Watch your head. Actually, just hop back out. You got a handcuff key? Yeah.
And then these are the pictures of when they busted down the door. And the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says 27-year-old Davion Murphy is in custody. Your Jacksonville Sheriff's Office SWAT team, in conjunction with the gang unit and U.S. Marshal Service, arrested Murphy this evening at an apartment on LaBelle Street in Jacksonville. Murphy was wanted for the murder in the June 23rd shooting death of Jacksonville rapper Charles Jones, aka Julio Foolio, as we know him in Tampa. Detectives interviewed Murphy and booked him into the Duval County pre-trial detention facility. In July, the sheriff's office arrested 4 other suspects: 21-year-old Isaiah Chance, we know, Alicia Andrews, Sean Gathright, and 30-year-old Rashad Murphy. No relation to Davion Murphy, from what I understand. We have worked this case closely with our partners at Tampa PD since the beginning and are in contact with them about this arrest. They say this arrest highlights our commitment and perseverance to solving this murder, said the Sheriff's Office Director of Investigations and Homeland Security, Mark Romano. He says, while it took some time, the Sheriff's Office and partners work daily to hold these individuals accountable. These cases remain ongoing. We will release more details when appropriate. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out moving forward, because now, even though he was mentioned in the original indictment and they were able to locate him, we're going to have to figure out court dates. He's going to have to get set up with an attorney. And this is probably something we'll see later on this year. I'm sure we're going to have some hearings from him soon. What type of plea he's going to enter, since I guess he was on the run from the police in the first place. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Here we go.
The 5th person connected to the murder of Jacksonville rapper Charles Jones, known as Julio Foolio, is in custody. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says it found 27-year-old Davion Murphy at an apartment complex on LaBelle Street last night. Police had been looking for him for over 6 months. News 4 Jax reporter Elisa Hatcher was there for his first appearance in court.
We're just leaving Murphy's first court appearance, where the judge says he's charged with a first-degree murder, 4 first-degree murder attempts, among other charges, and was denied bond. This is just the start to a lengthy process. All smiles was Davion Murphy after being caught by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for the murder of Julio Foolio.
Mr. Murphy, if you could come to the front of the courtroom, sir, where the microphone is.
For more than 6 months, multiple law enforcement agencies searched for Murphy, only to find him in Jacksonville Monday night.
A group of individuals with the goal of premeditated murder traveled from Jacksonville to Tampa.
Last June, Julio Foolio was shot and killed outside a Tampa hotel while celebrating his 26th birthday. Alicia Andrews, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, and Rashad Murphy were arrested in connection to Foolio's death. Murphy was the 5th suspect law enforcement was looking for.
You're charged with murder in the first degree.
I had our crime and safety analyst Tom Hackney weigh in on Murphy's arrest.
If Murphy was here in Jacksonville the entire time, what took JSO so long to catch him?
Yeah, that does raise a couple questions. Some people who know that they're wanted, if they continue to move around and continue to not be in places that JSO may know where to look for them, it certainly does. It makes them harder to put their hands on.
Hackney says Murphy's arrest helps investigators tie up loose ends.
They depend a lot of times on co-defendants testifying against each other. So between police and prosecutors, they will look at maybe who the parties involved are who may benefit the case by providing them some limited sentences.
I reached out to Foolio's attorney for comment, and they sent back in part. While this development brings us closer to accountability, it does not ease the heartbreak felt by his family and friends. Foolio was a talented artist whose life was taken far too soon. We will continue to support his family through this difficult journey and remain committed to ensuring that those responsible are held fully accountable. Alicia Hatcher, Channel 4, the local station.
And y'all have to remember too, Alicia Andrews, who's currently in prison right now, about to have a baby in jail. She is talking a lot, and we may have to get into the documents later down the road and see what she's actually saying. But all these guys that are named are a lot in part to the talking she's doing. Clearly, she wants to work out some type of deal to not have to be able to do a certain amount of time in prison. Maybe not look at the death penalty. I don't know if this is a death penalty applicable case in Florida, but I mean, she's going to be held responsible for everything that happened and went down. And one of the reasons this guy was named in this indictment is because a lot of the talking that she did. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat. Boy, sometimes it's tough with the innocent until proven guilty on this one. But again, we'll still have to wait and see. Shout out to Amber Rain in here, making it rain. As always, stopping by and showing love. She just gifted 5 memberships. All right, if you got a membership from Amber Rain, please make sure you say thank you. And again, thank you to everyone who's liked the video. We're over 100% of you that have liked the video so far. I appreciate it. And I will be reading super chats throughout the show too. Shout out to Amber Rain. All right, let's get into our next topic. Now, this one, this is going to be an interesting one. And I've got a lot of thoughts on this. I'll be interested to hear y'all's thoughts on our guy, Stephen A. Smith, up in here. Let me see if I got his picture. So we've been, let me make sure I got the right video. Boom. Got him in there. So we've been covering what's been going on with this lawsuit against Fox Sports, FS1, FS1-2, FS1, or Fox Sports LLC, and most notably Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor. Just a little bit of a refresher. Basically, the person who is filing this claim and this lawsuit against everyone I just mentioned was a hairdresser at Fox Sports. Okay, she worked for Joy Taylor. She became friends with Joy Taylor. And then she saw some of the things that Joy Taylor was doing to move her way up the ladder. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm sure y'all could use your imagination. Also mentioned in that were some issues that she had with Skip Bayless. Now, Faraji claims that Skip Bayless was basically in love with her. She had a relationship and started to build a relationship with him because she was doing his hair. Skip never really let anyone do his hair, as mentioned in the lawsuit, as claimed in the lawsuit, and they became really close. Skip started to be inappropriate with her. He got frustrated with her because he thought she was sleeping with Shannon Sharp. He found out later she wasn't sleeping with Shannon Sharpe, and he apologized. He told her that he loved her and wanted to stay in her life, and allegedly wanted to pay her $1.5 million to have relations with her. All right. So that's what's alleged in this lawsuit that specifically Skip Bayless did. There's also something interesting that I covered that a lot of people aren't talking about. Faraji claims that she had a recording device in one of the dressing rooms where she was talking with Skip Bayless, and some of the other hairdressers were in the other room listening. Skip Bayless walks into the room and says, I think this area is bugged, so we may have to be careful. Either way, it's looking pretty crazy when it comes to Skip Bayless. I don't know how he's held accountable in this instance because he doesn't work for Fox anymore, but Stephen A. Smith is actually coming to Skip Bayless's defense. We saw Stephen A. Smith do this with Jay-Z, and we're going to get into Jay-Z a little bit later. It's turning out that Stephen A. Smith was probably right in this instance when it comes to Jay-Z. Now he's backing up Skip Bayless and saying, I've known Skip Bayless for decades. I can't see him doing this, and these allegations sound kind of wild and crazy. So let's hear what Stephen A. Smith has to say.
I have to get started with this subject because we all know that anytime you mention Skip Bayless, most folks want to hear what I have to say. And that's where we're going to get started because it's sports media news, which makes it apropos. And it involves a recent lawsuit filed against Fox Sports, and several people, including my buddy Skip Bayless, my former colleague at ESPN. The suit filed by a woman named Nasheen Faraji, a former hairstylist for the company, cites several instances of workplace misconduct, okay? The 42-page, that's right, 42-page suit names several defendants, including Fox Sports Executive Vice President Charlie Dixon and even host Joy Taylor. Faraji alleges Dixon grabbed her buttocks at a birthday party, and when she relayed the encounter to Taylor, the Fox host allegedly told her to, quote, get over it, end quote. As for Skip Bayless, Faraji says he touched her inappropriately and propositioned her for sex, offering her $1.5 million, end quote.
That is insane.
I'll get to Tori and her thoughts on it.
Just again, I'm going to ask this every single time we talk about this. Do y'all believe that Skip Bayless offered this woman $1.5 million just for sex? I framed this in another video. If this were true, the only way I could see this happening is Skip Bayless said, hey, it's looking like things are going to go bad for you. If you want to come and work for me, maybe be my personal assistant, personal hairstylist, I could put you in another position for me and I'll pay you such and such. So I think there's some pieces missing to the story. Maybe we'll hear from Skip at some point, maybe not, but just straight up saying, hey, I'll give you $1.5 million. Unless he just has the money in cash, moving $1.5 million around would be crazy, in my opinion. But y'all let me know what you think.
For a second. First things first, let me tell you why I had to cover this. Number one, it's news. Number two, I was just on the air a few weeks ago and took some heat for the fact that I pointed out that I've been friends with Jay-Z for 25 years. And I know nothing about what happened.
Respect.
No intimate details. Certainly can't be irresponsible and not try to interfere with a legal matter, a lawsuit. But in the same breath, I didn't think it was a crime to point out that the person that I've known for 25 years, I've never seen somebody that would be capable of that, with that meaning that person that I was around for 25 years. The same applies to Skip Bayless. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't work at Fox. I worked at Fox from 2001 to 2003. I haven't been there. I haven't been in that building in over 20 years. I don't know any details or anything like that. And I'm not here to castigate Ms. Faraji or anybody else. I don't know Charlie Dixon that well, even though he used to work at ESPN. I don't know Joy Taylor that well, even though she and I have interacted with one another on several occasions throughout her career, and I find her to be a consummate professional, very good at what she does, very capable, very knowledgeable about the world.
Yeah, from what that lawsuit says, she's really good at what she does. Anyway, we'll leave that alone.
World of sports and what have you. I also know that she's big on women empowerment, so it's hard to imagine her saying get over it. But again, I don't know. But we all know that when you see Stephen A. Smith with a subject like this and the name involves Skip Bayless, that's what you want to know about. And here's what I would tell you. I don't know what happened. But just like I said, I've known Jay-Z for 25 years. I can't imagine that. I've known Skip for just as long. I can't imagine it.
In 2025, I keep saying 2024. In 2025, can we give, and let me not pause him like that, can we give Stephen A. Smith a round of applause? Don't we all wish we had a friend like this? Don't we all wish we had a friend who would speak on our behalf? I know for a fact that if something were to come out today saying that I took my car and I ran over puppies in the driveway, there would be a large majority of people that would be like, aha, I knew it. I knew it about that ClassE Beats guy. I can't believe this. Some other people would be silent, not say anything. But to have someone who's got your back like this, I mean, is amazing. And Stephen A. Smith has not only done this once for Jay-Z, he's doing it again for Skip Bayless. And I think it's great to see somebody saying, I've known this person for a long amount of time. From what I'm hearing in the story, I can't believe it's true. I would hope that I would have somebody who would have my back like Stephen A. Smith has had his guys back. And in the Jay-Z instance, it's looking like he's right so far.
I would tell you, I don't know what happened. But just like I said, I've known Jay-Z for 25 years. I can't imagine that. I've known Skip for just as long. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. Especially when they brought up the $1.5 million. The Skip Bayless I know has a hard time giving away $15. He's one of the cheapest people I know. That's just me. But that doesn't mean that I have any inside knowledge about any of this. I don't, and I'm not going to get involved. I think it's incredibly dicey and irresponsible for people who don't know to act like they do know. But in the same breath, I also feel it's important that if you know people or you think you know people and you've had a long-standing relationship with those people, that it's not a crime for you to say the person that I know, the person that I've been around, the person that I worked with in his case.
That's a fact.
You know, for 4 straight years, from 2012 to 2016, doing First Take every weekday morning at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. The person that I knew since our days at Fox Sports when we would appear on Jim Rome's show. Okay, The Last Word and stuff like that. And we were in the same Fox building off of Pico Boulevard and Avenue of the Stars. The person that I've seen that really, really trusts almost no one and doesn't expose himself to anybody. You know, eating the same breakfast and lunch every day. His vice is a Diet Mountain Dew, and he doesn't socialize with people. That's the guy I know. So imagining him being in this kind of position is shocking, to say the least. All I could tell you is that it's not the Skip Bayless I know. But obviously, this is a legal matter he's going to have to deal with because this situation doesn't appear to be going away. A lawsuit has been filed. This person who's a hairstylist, the people that I've spoken to in the last 24 hours that have some knowledge about her says that she's the kind of person that she's meticulous with her details and she's going to chronicle things. And
I don't trust anybody who drinks Diet
and that's
Mountain
how
Dew.
she operates. I don't know her. I don't know them. I know Skip. And I'm very, very heartbroken that he finds himself in this situation, being accused of these allegations. But I can't be over the airways being irresponsible and attaching truth or innocence, or guilt to anything that I know nothing about. All I can say, and I don't think it's a crime to say, is just like I said with Jay-Z, the person that I've known for 25 years, I've never seen anything like that from that person, anything close to that from that person. That's the same thing that I would tell you about Skip Bayless.
Yeah, and again, look at the contrast. Look at the contrast between how a Stephen A. Smith, who has a lot to lose, let's be real, by speaking out on Skip Bayless and by Jay-Z. Look at the contrast between what Stephen A. Smith is saying about Jay-Z and Skip Bayless versus how many people spoke out about what Diddy was doing. People got radio silent when Diddy was out here getting accused of this, getting his home raided. They're saying they found videos. A lot of people were like, oh man, that's tough for Diddy. But nobody defended him. Nobody said he's a man of character. I can't imagine this happening. The person I've known for 20 years, this doesn't make sense. So I think that has to count for a lot. And again, not knowing Skip Bayless, not knowing Jay-Z, but seeing someone like Stephen A is willing to stand on that when he has so much to lose. I mean, I think it should be applauded. So shout out to Stephen A. Smith. I hope he's right in this case. I think this story, when it comes to Skip Bayless, is a little strange, in my opinion. And I think maybe Miss Faraji's painting Skip Bayless in a certain way to help build her overall case against Fox. But at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see and let the evidence be what it is. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat as well. And shout out to the gang in here, man. Y'all have got those lights looking amazing. Oh my goodness. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are saying you have my back if I run over the puppies. Nana Banana said, y'all got my back. Benjamin says, for the short time I've been watching you, ClassE, and a great judgment of character, I would stick up for you, my brother. Peace and happy new year. Happy new year to you, Benjamin. I appreciate it. Mo Max says 1.5 is hard to believe, not gonna lie. Again, if that conversation happened, I think it was more so of hey, let's work out a deal. And she thought maybe because Skip was showing favor to her that it was sexual. I don't know. Who knows? Zahir says Stephen A is just saying stuff so he can shoot his jumper the next time he sees her. Oh man. Brother, if he offered her that amount of money, it wouldn't just be for a one-time deal. Come on, man. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And shout out to Mr. Brown, who dropped the 2-bomb up in here, just showing some love. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for the super chat. We've also got Les Cleaver, my guy, is in the building as well with the 5-bomb. Says, have a great day, y'all. You have a great day as well. Anton Bishop, what does he say? So this is like saying everybody that saw what was going on with Diddy. What do you mean, Anton? And then Kim R says, looking at all the documents and statements is always interesting, but none of us know the legal details that will actually come out on all sides through a legal process. So we don't know the truth yet. We don't. Yeah, but I think we can look at what the lawsuit states, because I mean, they're expecting us to take the lawsuit at face value, right? And some of the things alleged in the lawsuit just are kind of iffy. But again, we don't know. So you're 1000% right. Because a lot of them was at the Diddy party sliding in the baby oil. Woo! Jury selection for ASAP Rocky trial starts in a few weeks. That's going to be an interesting one. Mr. Tesla's in the building too. Shout out to Mr. Tesla. We've got a couple more topics I want to get into, y'all. Just give me 1 second. We're going to have a brief intermission and then we will be back.
I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is, but it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting, and I'll do the same. it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely. Never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded. Like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging. Going back to the basics of what a good day is. Of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what today is.
Tell me your ETA, I'ma be on my way, Gotta took my valet.
All right, we back. Appreciate y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We've got one more thing I want to get into. Speaking of Jay-Z, let me see if I can pull up this document for y'all. So there have been some new updates with what's going on with this Jay-Z lawsuit, this BS Jay-Z lawsuit. I mean, let's be real. I think we're all pretty much in agreement that this entire lawsuit, when it comes to the timing, when it comes to the story behind it, it just seems off. So we've got some updates here. Tony Busby looks like he might be in trouble again, but we'll have to wait and see what Judge Torres decides here. But let's go ahead and get into this one. Let me make sure we're all good. All right, boom. We got it. So new update with Diddy / Jay-Z. So we talked about this lawsuit that came out against Jay-Z, an alleged 13-year-old, went to the VMAs back in 2000. She got picked up by someone who either worked for Diddy or worked with Jay-Z, taken to a party, and she was allegedly assaulted by Jay-Z, Diddy, and a celebrity B, who we don't know who's named, a female celebrity, was there, saw the whole thing that happened. She ran out of the house, went to a gas station, called her dad, told him that she snuck out of the house. He came and picked her up, and that's the end of the story, right? Well, come to find out through an NBC interview that a lot of those things did not happen. One, because the house that she talks about didn't exist. Two, the VMAs that year, where they were being held, it would have been impossible for them to get to that location. And a lot of the details that she explained about the VMAs that year didn't happen. She mentioned meeting certain people at the party. That didn't happen. And her dad said, I never picked her up from the gas station. So this whole thing is a mess. Jay-Z and Tony Busby, the attorney who's representing the, at the time, 13-year-old, have been going back and forth in this legal war, it seems like. And now we have some recent updates with Jay-Z and his representation, Alex Spiro, that are trying to basically just get this thing taken down and punish Tony Busby for his behavior throughout. Let's see what they're saying. Shout out to Inner City Press. He says the Diddy docket, Jay-Z edition. This morning, Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, recently slapped down by Judge Torres for the motions, has filed a motion for sanctions against the Busby law firm. Oh no. And for attorney fees. And shout out to the Inner City Press for reporting this. So we're going to read into the full document here. I won't go through the whole thing, but yeah, Alex Spiro and Jay-Z are really upset, and they want Tony Busby to pay for this BS lawsuit. What they say? Defendant Sean Carter's memorandum of law in support of his motion for sanctions dismissing the complaint pursuant to federal rule of civil procedure. All right. Y'all check this out. So we got the preliminary statement here. We'll get into that. What are they saying? What are they mad about? Defendant Sean Carter respectfully submits this memorandum of law in support of his motion for monetary sanctions against the plaintiff's counsel, Anthony Busby, aka Tony Busby, and the Busby Law Firm, and to dismiss the plaintiff's first amended complaint, or the FAC, pursuant to Rule 11C of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. What are they saying? Why do they think this should happen? While the allegations stated in the complaint in this case are gravely serious and injurious to Mr. Carter's hard-won reputations, very true, many of them on their face strain the outer bounds of basically credibility. I don't know why they use that word. Credulity. What is that? And none of them appears to have been subjected to even the most rudimentary diligence by the filing attorney who initially signed his name on them and has since declined to withdraw them. Now, this was another issue as well. After that NBC interview, y'all might remember, Tony Busby made a statement that said, well, maybe we didn't vet her like we should have. I want to kind of take a step back here. The law firm that referred this client to us, they actually did all the vetting. We didn't really, do our due diligence, as this is saying, and we didn't vet her properly. We just took it at face value and trusted this other law firm, kind of passing the buck to the other law firm, which is, again, a lame and dirty tactic, in my opinion. Because the federal rules of professional ethics require more of a filing attorney, Mr. Carter now respectfully seeks appropriate sanctions. What is he looking for? Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11B3 requires every attorney who signs a complaint to certify, to quote, certify that to the best of the person's knowledge, information, and belief formed after an inquiry reasonable under the circumstances, the factual contentions have evidentiary support, or if specifically so identified, will likely have evidentiary support after a reasonable opportunity for further investigation or discovery. The simplest thing Tony Busby could have done was call the dad and say, hey, in 2000, do you remember picking up your daughter from a gas station in New Jersey, or wherever it was, wherever she's saying the house was, New Jersey, New York, we don't even know at this point. Do you remember that? And the dad, allegedly, according to a statement he just made, would have said, no. What? If that would have happened, I would have remembered it, is what the dad said, right? Just that one phone call. I mean, you or I probably could have made that phone call. As judges in this district and elsewhere have long held, plaintiffs, quote, plaintiffs may not file a complaint in this court without having made a reasonable investigation of the facts. A couple of phone calls could have sufficed. The rule accords with the rules of professional conduct, which prohibit an attorney from knowingly asserting material factual statements that are false, not good, and from failing to correct a false statement of material fact or law previously made to the tribunal by the lawyer. Those basic guardrails on litigation are critical to the integrity of the judicial process. And I just realized y'all cannot see this whole thing. So let me slide this over real quick. There we go. Courts rely on attorneys to conduct a reasonable investigation into the facts alleged in a complaint to avoid wasting judicial and party resources litigating meritless claims. And Tony Busby, as loud as he was at the beginning of this lawsuit, he's been eerily quiet, in my opinion. What do y'all think about that? Because Tony Busby, he came out and he's like, yeah, Jay-Z, we're amending this claim. We're talking about you, sir. And then Jay-Z takes shots back and says, this man's an ambulance chaser and you're not going to get me. Tony Busby's like, oh, dang. Then his client does the NBC interview and he's like, oh, man. Jay-Z files a motion telling the judge, we need to get this thing done with because This whole thing is BS and I'm not feeling it. So let's get this process going because I know I didn't do this. Dang, Tony Busby has been awfully quiet and all he's saying is, yeah, we're going to fight back. And you know, maybe I didn't vet this the right way. Not looking good on his part. Moreover, in cases where the allegations assert outrageous or criminal conduct, an attorney's certification that allegations are reasonably supported by evidence ensures that parties cannot improperly use statements in judicial filings, often shielded from defamation liability by the litigation privilege, to impugn the reputations of innocent people or attempt to extract unwarranted settlements. And they cite the case here. Sanctions appropriate where a claim, quote, can only be viewed as an attempt to harass defendants and cause reputational harm. Also, they cite another case. They've got Usherson versus Banshell. Sanctions warranted where counsel maintained the lawsuit without any investigation indicating broad strategy to use the burdens of litigation to extract settlements, even in frivolous or unmerited suits. Man, if this comes out to be not true, Tony Busby's about to get it. Because this right here, Usherson versus Banshell, I mean, that's exactly what Jay-Z and Alex Spiro are accusing Tony Busby of. Plaintiff's lead attorney, Anthony Busby, violated Rule 11B by either knowingly making false allegations about Mr. Carter in the amended complaint, failing to conduct an adequate investigation into the complaint's factual allegations, which Tony Busby publicly admitted to doing, or at a minimum, failing to withdraw the complaint once it became clear that numerous allegations in the complaint are false and the other allegations are therefore at least highly suspect. What do they say in this footnote here? New York barred attorney, and we're going to say A. Cruise, hopefully I said that right, also signed the operative complaint. It appears Mr. Cruise was retained as local counsel and all filings have been submitted under her electronic filing credentials. Serving as local counsel, of course, does not relieve an attorney who signs a pleading of the duty of conduct a reasonable investigation before filing. So it sounds like this was the initial person who referenced this client to Tony Busby in the initial complaint. So that's what it looks like I'm hearing. First Amendment complaint, or the FAC alleges the following. The 2000 Music Video Awards are the Video Music Awards, or the VMAs. Plaintiff was drugged and assaulted at a celebrity party. But almost immediately after the FAC was filed, NBC News journalists determined that a number of allegations were either false or highly doubtful. For example, paragraph 44 of the complaint claims that the party occurred at a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway that was approximately 20 minutes from the VMAs by car. But photographs show that the VMAs Mr. Carter attended, that after the VMAs, Mr. Carter attended a party at Lotus nightclub in New York. And we found out later, Dennis Byron was actually at that party and photographed Jay-Z and Diddy. In paragraph 60, it states that after the alleged assault, plaintiff's father drove to pick her up. We just talked about this, but her father has no recollection of doing so, despite the fact that it would have been a 10-hour round trip to retrieve his 13-year-old daughter from a random gas station. It sounds crazier every time you read it. Paragraph 46 states that the plaintiff spoke to celebrities at the alleged party, but when journalists pressed her as to which celebrity she spoke with, named a person who was in Chicago that evening performing at a concert. Paragraph 40 states that the plaintiff watched the VMAs on a Jumbotron. In fact, photographs from that evening show there was no Jumbotron, as New York City had denied MTV's a permit. And the same paragraph says that plaintiff approached limousine drivers at the VMAs, but video shows that the limousine area was oh, really? It was cornered off by police and inaccessible to fans. I don't remember this. This just keeps getting worse and worse. So the limousine area she says she went to, you couldn't even get access to. And you think she got through the police? A 13-year-old girl got through the police and was walking up and down, talking to people in the limos, asking if she could get a ride to the after party. What? This is bad, man. Tony Busby, you better get it together. By an objective measure, the fact that nearly every step in the plaintiff's narrative, from her arrival at the VMAs to her interactions with the limousine driver and celebrities to the ride with her father, turns out to be false or highly unlikely, casts considerable doubt on the plaintiff's allegations that Mr. Carter assaulted her, which he did not. Confronted with those glaring red flags, a competent and ethical attorney would have not only omitted the many erroneous allegations from the complaint, but also completed a thorough and careful vetting of the core assault allegation before affixing his or her signature to the complaint. It's not looking good for Tony, man. Abiding by that ethical duty was especially important here, given the defamatory character of the assault allegation and the near certainty that the complaint would generate massive publicity in light of the identity of the defendant, inflicting irreparable reputational harm and forcing him to explain to his own children that he had been falsely accused of assaulting a child. And that was, I think, the biggest thing and the biggest issue that Jay-Z had with it, was that he's got to talk to his wife and his daughter about that. As we know, Blue Ivy, she was one of the stars in the recent Lion King movie. I think it was called Mufasa. Is that right? Either way, they had so many things going on. And then you have this dark cloud of this lawsuit covering Jay-Z and his entire reputation. It's got to be frustrating, but the company you keep, it's going to come with it. And conducting a thorough inquiry is particularly crucial, whereas here the plaintiff has no corroborating witness for her account and claims that she did not tell a soul about the incident at any point in the last quarter century, including her father, who supposedly picked her up. And she also alleged that the person who dropped her off at the VMAs, well, they're now dead, so they're not around. And what do they say? They cite Saltz versus the city of New York, where counsel must rely on his client. He has an obligation to, quote, question him thoroughly, not accepting his version on faith alone. But it appears that Mr. Busby failed to conduct any such inquiry. That a reporter was able to undercut almost all of the events of the plaintiff's narrative just 5 days after the FAC was filed only highlights the complete lack of investigation undertaken by her own attorneys. It's true. A simple call to her father. That's crazy. I just said the same thing. A simple call to her father, a review of publicly available video footage and photos from that night at and after the VMAs, or a review of publicly available property records would have quickly revealed the implausibility of her allegations. But Mr. Busby has all but admitted that he declined to undertake such a basic investigation. When confronted by NBC News journalists with the series of false allegations in the complaint, Mr. Busby sought to cover for his utter lack of diligence by claiming his client would undergo a polygraph examination, and offer he seems to have abandoned since making it a week ago. Yeah, he's been awfully quiet for real. And he passed the buck, stating that another unnamed firm had vetted the allegations and that the Busby law firm would continue to vet the plaintiff's claims and collect corroborating data that to the extent it exists. But it's crazy though. They already amended the complaint and they put it out publicly. So if you're still going to investigate and then later on you're going to say, oh, well, we messed up. How does that help Jay-Z's reputation. It doesn't. This is entirely improper. It was Mr. Busby's responsibility to conduct a factual investigation into the allegations before he signed the complaint, not afterward. And he cannot evade the core ethical responsibility by relying on the work of attorneys who did not sign the pleadings and are not associated with his firm. You decided to take the case, you got to be responsible for it. It says in the Bus Guys, Rule 11 imposes on any party who signs a pleading, a motion, or other paper, whether the party's signature is required by the rule or is provided voluntary, an affirmative duty to conduct a reasonable inquiry into the facts and the law before filing. Moreover, although Mr. Busby claimed in his statement to the journalist that his firm had interrogated the plaintiff intensely, she admitted to the journalist that she had made some mistakes and was guessing about key details. Serious problems with her account that Mr. Busby would have uncovered had his firm actually interrogated the plaintiff. Instead of conducting a thorough investigation, Mr. Busby filed a complaint setting forth one of the most serious allegations of criminal conduct imaginable, with an accompanying publicity campaign on social media and elsewhere, based on an uncorroborated claim of assault that relied on an easily disprovable factual narrative. And inexplicably, even though the NBC news story was published over 3 weeks ago, Mr. Busby has taken no action to withdraw a complaint that contains provably false statements. That's very true. And then they go into more detail. They give the factual background about what happened. And I want to see what they're actually saying that they want from Tony Busby, because this whole thing is a mess. And I don't know if Tony makes it out of this. Let's see if we can find what they're asking for here. Here we go. Let's go through this. They've got a couple of arguments here we're going to go through. So the court should impose Rule 11 sanctions for Mr. Busby's filing of the amended complaint and refusal to withdraw it. Mr. Busby violated Rule 11B by either filing a knowingly false complaint or failing to conduct a reasonable inquiry into the facts. All right, we know that. They're talking about the photos that were taken. They're also talking about just the lack of investigation by Tony Busby. And then we go into the last thing, which is going to be the court should dismiss the FAC and impose monetary sanctions against Mr. Busby. Well, that's going to hurt him if they does. They say Mr. Busby violated Rule 11 and it's to an extreme amount. What else did he do? Mr. Busby is a repeat offender. What is this about? On October 14, 2024, he filed a different complaint on behalf of an anonymous John Doe against Mr. Combs that also contained easily disprovable allegations. For example, the complaint asserted that John Doe had never been married, but CNN reported the contrary. He was married and his marriage purportedly ended after the alleged assault. What? Tony Busby, come on, man. So that's one there. Third, adding to his original failure to conduct a reasonable inquiry, Mr. Busby now refuses to withdraw the FAC in light of the revelations by NBC News, instead stating only that he will search for corroborating data to the extent it exists. It didn't happen in 2000. I think we all know it didn't happen in 2000. Right Street's in the chat saying it's time to know her name. Her name is going to be put out there. Now, again, Jay-Z I don't think it looks great for him to go after the claimant here. She's clearly got some issues, or I should say allegedly has some issues mentally and physically. So I don't know if he's going to go that route, but it's very clear that Jay-Z is going to take as many shots at Tony Busby as he possibly can. Fourth, For months now, Tony Busby has inexplicably declined to seek admission to his I'm going to say it wrong, but his mess up. In the 11 weeks since he initiated this proceeding, Mr. Busby has filed a complaint in this matter that was signed solely by him using an S signature, signed the amended complaint, adding Mr. Carter as a defendant, and noticed a motion for the plaintiff to proceed anonymously, accompanied by a supporting brief and a declaration, once again signed only by him. Finally, the nature of all the allegations here warrants sanctions. This is not a contract dispute or a patent case. This is an allegation of child assault. To sign a pleading accusing someone of such a horrific crime without adequately vetting the allegation, particularly when the defendant's prominence means the allegation will be repeated in the headlines across the world, it's deeply wrong and unethical. I agree. You should not be allowed to do this in any instance. If lawyers did not face consequences for such a cavalier effort to destroy another person's reputation and inflict emotional harm on his loved ones, that tactic will proliferate. I agree. And Tony Busby actually prides himself on doing it. You can find it on his website, which is wild in my opinion. Together, these factors justify a strong sanction. To that end, Mr. Carter respectfully requests that the court dismiss the FAC and impose monetary sanctions against Mr. Busby and the Busby law firm. In the conclusion, for the reasons stated above, the court should impose sanctions under Rule 11C. Should the court conclude that an award of fees and costs is appropriate, Mr. Carter respectfully requests that the court direct the parties to confer regarding a briefing schedule for the calculation of that award. Alex Spiro, shout out to Alex Spiro and Jay-Z. What do y'all think? It's looking like this is coming to an end, and Jay-Z is clearly turning up the heat on Tony Busby. I don't see how Tony Busby gets out of this one. You went so far and hung your hat on this claim, saying, yeah, we got this guy. We're going to get him. We're going to ruin his reputation because of what he did. And it's very clear to all of us looking at this that things don't add up. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. Shout out to y'all are amazing, man. Shout out to the chat gang. We've got over 1,100 likes. Y'all show so much love, man. Thank you to Amy for always reminding y'all to like the video. It's crazy, man. Oh, man. Rice Street said, I'm also suing. I identify as a person who was there. Oh, that's not how it works. He says, I'm also identifying as 13. That is not how it works, Rice Street. Told y'all he should have did a diss song against her. No, I think it's a terrible look to go after the person who's filing this lawsuit, or the claimant, as we'll call them, just due to her many issues. So interesting. I wonder if she was maybe advised by someone close to her that she needs to go ahead and clear her name by doing this interview. Because again, I cannot imagine the chess move Tony Busby would be making by saying, hey, go do this interview with NBC. Tell them everything you know. It just doesn't make sense. So maybe someone close to her said, you need to do this interview and tell the truth so this can be over with. And then we'll put all the weight on Tony Busby. I don't know. Either way, thank y'all so much for the love, man. I appreciate everybody who is in here showing love. Make sure you like the video on your way out. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live. We're going to be live again tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Song of the Night Live. If y'all enjoy independent artist music and you want to support them, make sure you tune into the show at 8 p.m. We'll be giving away some cash, some door prizes, and you'll get a chance to hear some great music and interact in the chat. Looking forward to seeing y'all there. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow morning with some more news and updates for y'all as well. As always, thank y'all for the love and have a great rest of your day. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace.